6 o'clock. Good evening. I'll call this meeting of the Richland County Board to order for the month of February. Ask the clerk to begin by taking the roll.
Carroll.
Here.
Miller.
She's online.
She's online. I thought. Miller.
Is that you online, Mary?
And Bob is online.
Oh, okay, so
Mary, I'm not sure. Schoonover. Here. Kramer. Here. McKee.
Here.
Engel.
Here.
Hendricks. Manning. Thompson.
Here.
Nolan.
Here.
Perry.
Here.
Turk.
Here.
Cosgrove.
Here.
Frank. Was
Here.
online. Severson. Williamson.
Here.
Hui.
Here.
Fleming.
Here.
And McGuire.
Here.
You have a quorum.
Good. For invocation this evening, we do have Pastor with us. Okay.
But ask you to stand and introduce yourself.
So my name is Father Nate Kuhn. I'm the pastor at St. Mary's Catholic Church here in Richland Center. So let's begin in prayer as we call upon our God in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. We ask the Lord to provide his richest blessings upon all who are here as we reflect upon Psalm 100. Shout joyfully to the Lord, all you lands. Serve the Lord with gladness. Come before him with joyful song. Know that the Lord is God. He made us. We belong to him. We are his people, the flocky shepherds. Enter his gates with thanksgiving, his courts with praise. Give thanks to him, bless his name. Good indeed is the Lord, his mercy endures forever. His faithfulness lasts through every generation. Blessed are you, Lord God of mercy, who through your Son gave us a marvelous example of charity and the great commandment to love one another. Send down your blessings on all your servants who are here, who devote themselves to helping others. When they are called on in times of need, let them faithfully serve you in their neighbor. We ask all this in the name of Christ, your Son. Amen.
If the clerk would please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
Ask the clerk if we are in compliance with the open meetings law.
Yes, Mr. Chair, the meeting has been properly noticed.
Very good. Before us, we have, take just a moment and look at this 18-point agenda. Not often do we see one this short. Do I have a motion to approve this diminutive agenda? Motion by Schoonover, second by Kramer. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Item 7, minutes of the January 20th meeting. Those were distributed. Anybody have questions, corrections, comments on the minutes from our last meeting? All right, hearing none, the chair declares those minutes to be approved as circulated. Item 8, public comment. Members of the public that wish to comment to the county board tonight. Present or online? We'll move on. Item 9. Some quick division, 18. We're halfway, okay. Appointments to various boards, committees, and commissions.
So we had a committee on committee meeting prior to this meeting, and we are looking to appoint Kevin Nolan to the Mississippi Valley Health Services Commission, the Housing Committee, Prosperity Southwest, and the Natural Resources Committee.
I'll be honest with you, Kevin, those are the 4 slots we had open. Do those sound okay to you?
Absolutely.
Very good, thank you. All right, so with that, do I have a motion to approve, confirm that nomination? We have a motion by Cosgrove, second by Perry, to approve the appointment to these committees. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Good, congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes. Item 10, ordinance relating to parcel 024-4011-3000.
This will be ordinance number 26-3, amendment number 638 to Richland County Code of Ordinance, chapter 119. The following described 3.175 acre parcel in the town of Richwood is rezoned from ag residential to residential district. This ordinance shall be effective upon passage and publication. Is being offered to you by the Natural Resources Standing Committee on February 2nd of 2026.
It's a resolution. Do I have a motion, please? Motion by McKee, second by Fleming. and discussion.
So this one was a split. Excuse me, it was previously an ag forest parcel that was purchased by someone that owns adjoining land. He's splitting off the home and the buildings, so that's the portion that's being rezoned to residential. It is over the 2 acre minimum.
Anyone with questions on this? Hearing no questions, all in favor of the ordinance, please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? That ordinance is adopted, and it is not a typo. Item 11 is also an ordinance relating to parcel 024-4011-3000.
This will be ordinance number 26-4, amendment number 639 to the Richland County Code of Ordinance, chapter 119. The following described 9.825 acre parcel in the town of Richwood is rezoned from ag residential to ag forestry district. Again, this ordinance shall be effective on the passage of publication and is being offered to you by the Natural Resources Standing Committee on February 2nd of 2026.
Thanks. For a motion on this ordinance. Motion by Perry, second by Fleming, and discussion.
So this is the remnant of that split, and the retaining owner of this portion owns other ag forest land, so it will be connected to his existing farm.
Any questions? All in favor of adopting the ordinance, please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? This is adopted. Item 12, ordinance relating to parcel 006-3043-1000 and parcel 006-3034-1000.
This will be ordinance number 26-5, amendment number 640 to again the Richland County Code of Ordinance, chapter 119. The following described 22.34 acre parcel in the town of Buena Vista is rezoned from ag forestry to ag residential. Once again, ordinance shall be effective upon passage of publication and is being offered to you again by the Natural Resources Standing Committee on February 2nd of 2026.
Making a motion on this, please. Motion by McKee, second by Fleming. You have a pattern. Discussion.
So this one was 4 parcels originally, all owned by the same owner, totaling over 35 acres. He sold the northern 2 parcels, or selling the northern 2 parcels, which is less than the 35 acres, hence the need to rezone.
Anyone have questions here? Not. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Ordinance is adopted. Thank you. Brings us to item 13, which is our reports, and we'll begin with our county administrator's report.
So I did have a written report in the packet, but I just want to highlight a few things. Number 1, we have hired a human resource director. Tracy Long is here. She started on February 9th, and we're really excited to have her. We kind of thrown her to the wolves and away she's going. So far so good. Public survey on the campus property is still available this week. That closes at the end of this week. So if you're interested in taking the survey on the campus property, now is the time to do it. We've received over 300 survey results back. So SEH is very excited, and we're excited about that.
You still have some paper ones available.
I do.
If people want to do it that way.
Yeah, absolutely. And we are working on finalizing a date for a community open house so that we can get community input that way too. We have started the process to demolish the buildings out at the campus property. The original plan was to do the 3, the science building, the classroom building, and the library building, and hold off on the copper top. But we have had some pretty significant water damage in the copper top. We've had, in that really, really cold spell, we had some water pipes bursting. So we're not sure how well it'll be marketable in the future. I think SEH is still in the position to say, well, let's wait and see. But I think they also had some strong hesitation that somebody will want that because the amount of work that's going to go into it is going to increase.
It was a pretty significant mess. Our whole maintenance department was out there multiple days trying to clean up from it. We had only 1 working boiler in the building. We hoped that would be enough to keep it from freezing. It wasn't.
I think the main problem too, the water lines were on the outside wall.
Yeah.
So, it was in a impossible situation.
They've had to cut the water completely off to the building now because if they turn it on at all, water runs.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
it's almost 2 gallons a minute and they don't know where it's going. So they had to cut it off completely. So it's highly unfortunate.
So the study on the future of the ambulance service has begun. There are individual meetings that have been set up between the municipalities and the company, and then there's a group meeting later tonight. The Simon study is wrapping up, and that final report will be presented March 3rd to the city council meeting. And then one last thing is John Heinen was officially done at the end of January as working for us with emergency management. He had many, many years working through emergency management, started in 1998. And as a member of the LEPC, and then really worked with us through a lot of emergencies over the years. So I just wanted to take a moment to thank him and his service to the community. It was a valuable asset for many, many years.
Questions for the administrator?
First, the likely loss of that building, right? That's a pretty significant asset of the town. I'm wondering, when Pine Valley had the E. coli, we weren't notified of that as a board. And on this one, we weren't notified either. So I had like 4 or 5 people call me, 3 of which spun the story negatively against the county. So I'm wondering, when things like this happen, that have an impact on the county as a whole, why can't we get ahead of it and communicate among ourselves? So that call, I would have said, well, you know, the pipes were on the building, which was outside, there was really no way for that. You know, it was a mistake. So I guess I'm asking, whose responsibility is it to identify those things that have a public impact and then inform us so we can deal with our constituents? Is it the administrator or the county board chair?
I guess my first thought is to tell those people to call us, to call me. And to say, I don't know exactly what's going on, because as a board member, I can't know everything, but if you call the administrator, she'll be able to answer all your questions. That's my first thought. Second, I guess if I'm given the directives by the group as a whole to notify people and you guys tell me what you want to be notified for, that's what I would do. But I would need that directive on, you know, when does it rise to the level and the time to make sure I'm doing it.
Well, 2 things on that. One is E. coli is a problem, as is the loss of an asset. Your first response about having people call you, why would you want them?
Job.
Yeah, but why would you get that kind of negativity? Because that's what we initially get. And that's why I think we should be a buffer for you, not creating more work for you. So I'd be in favor of giving you that directive. When things reach the role of a public issue, we should be notified.
I want to be careful that it's purely a notification. We're not going to be discussing it until we're in a public meeting and it's an agenda. So
That's correct.
Yep.
That's correct.
Yep.
I just like to get ahead of the negativity. And there's a lot of it.
Mr. Studo.
So I guess I'd make that
On
motion.
your point, Larry, we just found this out less than 2 weeks ago.
That's when I started getting calls.
At the campus configuration. That's when we learned about it. So, I understand what you're saying, but this is the actual first meeting of board since this has occurred at the campus.
And again, my point is for notification only, not discussion. I think a notification with a couple words of explanation would be very helpful in terms of being able to respond to negativity.
That's something we could look at doing by email or some way to get it out to everybody.
It wouldn't have to be much, just enough. So I would make that motion.
Well, that's not really a motion. We can talk about how we handle things as a process, but that's not a motion. Mr. Carroll.
I understand the issue, but we also need to be careful about who can and can't speak for the board as a whole. So however we decide to do this in the future, that's something we gotta be careful about.
From what Supervisor Engel is talking, it sounds like internal communication for the board.
Right.
It's purely notification, not discussion, not having any kind of walking quorum or anything like that. And so if you receive a notification like that, do not reply all to it, not reply to it. If you have a question for Trish, get on the phone, give her a call.
No, but what I'm saying is.
Yeah.
Then when residents do contact you as a supervisor, after you've gotten that info blast or whatever, you still need to be careful, how you respond.
That would be true too. You're correct. Yep.
Well, this is a perfect example. It was a huge incident out there, but we still don't know and won't till probably sometime later this spring, is the building still salvageable? Is it something that we can go in there and fix and make it marketable to someone to buy? So we still don't know that.
Mr. McKee.
My concern is there's 21 board members, and you get 21 different answers.
That's awesome. And I would say if we do have some kind of notification in place, you know, what we can tell you would be in the notification, and there may be instances where you can't go beyond that really. Whether it's because there's confidentiality reasons or because of things we just don't know. And so if we did do something like that, I would urge you to use it with caution, to acknowledge, yeah, I am aware that that happened. And we're still waiting on answers, or will, you know, whatever it could be.
I want to be clear, it's on the big things, not the small ones.
Well, and we'd want to have some discussion on what constitutes a big thing too.
Right.
There's not a universal definition. Tiffany.
One thing I'm just gonna add to what Larry was saying is it helps keep unity with everything. You know, everyone has the same answer. Everyone's given the same answer, so that when asked, everyone says the same thing. So, and yes, be careful, you know, what you answer for or whatever, but that way it would keep a unified answer with the board. So no matter who they talk to on the board, it's the same answer, the answer that Trish would give. You know, if you just shoot out an email, you know, if asked, this is your response.
Elaine?
Yeah, I've been messaged a few questions and I said, well, we might hear something tonight at this meeting, because I wasn't gonna answer, I don't know.
Right.
But, so the questions I've been asked, when will people be able to ask questions about it? And like, is there a meeting coming up this week with it being discussed?
Ask questions about like the future of the
Well,
campus
like-
property?
There's been questions about, the flooding out there, the damage.
I think if you've got questions, we can answer them now. I mean, between Josh and I think we can certainly answer those questions.
Well, one of the messages I got was questioning if we had insurance on the building and if we would turn it in, and then would that, yeah, I mean, like, obviously not our decision. I mean, we're not making that now, but that was a big concern, like if it's insured, that should help us. And then question, that was one of the big ones I.
I think that's something we can look into doing and kind of weighing that cost benefit analysis.
My concern about the insurance is it has 2 boilers and all I'm working, so,
That would probably enter into the discussion.
yeah.
I thought, but I'm not an insurance professional, so I don't know. Any other questions for the administrator? Trish? County Board Chair Report. I'm kind of going to go backwards on the calendar, start with today and work my way back. We had a meeting today in this room with a whole bunch of people from primarily the city, but Steve Ward from the school district was also here, and our consultants from SEH were here, talking about the situation with infrastructure out at the campus property. City utilities, specifically with water, sewer, and electricity. And I think the takeaway from it was a good understanding of, okay, where do the utilities come in? What out there is city stuff versus what goes with the property? The stuff between all the buildings is privately owned, meaning it's part of the property. It's not the city's responsibility. And the overall assessment of that infrastructure is it is 60+ years old and looks like it's 60+ years old. So some of the shutoff valves to the buildings have been problematic. The city has been really good about helping us in cutting off services where we need to. And Josh will be coordinating with them closely as we get towards where we look at demolishing buildings, making sure that all utilities are cut off properly. We do need to come up with approaches to get water, sewer, electricity to Simons, to the gym, and to Melville Hall, which will still exist. Right now, those services might be kind of intertwined with other buildings on the property, so we know that there's going to have to be some alterations to make that happen. But we expected that, and we've had some planning with that already. But it was good conversation, and then the city had questions about the future development, which SEH told us that, hey, they're gathering information right now. They've been in contact with different developers around the nation that might have ideas. They say it's a very highly desirable property. And so they're confident that they'll be able to put together a package that somebody would definitely be interested in, most likely looking to get TIF funding from the city, because that's what developers do. And so the city would have to be on board and cooperating and everything, which they want to see it developed as much as. And so SEH said in a couple of months, they should have some kind of concept to be able to share with us, and the city's very anxious to see that. So I know a lot of people are. So it was a good meeting, went on for a little over an hour and had some conversations even afterwards. So that was a good meeting. Monday, Steve and I had breakfast with Tony Kurtz, had a chance to talk one-on-one with him. We had seen him the previous week in Madison at the WCA Legislative Conference, got to spend some just one-on-one time with him Monday morning and talked about some upcoming legislation, and he had questions about our campus property. It's a big item of interest for him. And also our EMS situation and a couple other topics. So we had good conversation about that before he went down and got on the radio station at his morning show this week. Last week, Steve and I and Trish all went to the WCA Legislative Conference in Madison. Spent a couple days with other county people. Actually, in the first day, which Trish was only their first day, but we had all three Richland County administrators in the same room. We should have taken a picture. Clint Langrick was there, who is now the county administrator in Iowa County. And Candace Pesch was there, who's now the deputy county administrator in Marathon County. So they were all three there, chatting a little bit. That was kind of cool. But a lot of county officials, legislative leaders came in, legislative staffers came in. Obviously, the WCA's folks came in. The governor was there, came in and talked for a little while. At the reception they had Tuesday night, you get to mingle with all the state legislators who were across the street working during the day. And then they came over and mingled with county people. So we talked with Tony Kurtz there. We got to meet one of the Supreme Court candidates was there. One of the Attorney General candidates was there, plus various assorted other legislators. I saw Howard Markline there. I saw, I can't remember his name from Dodgeville. Can't remember his name now. Yeah, Todd Novak. And so, various other legislators were there too that are not our district, but adjacent. So we have a chance to chat. And the information shared at the exchange was good. I know, Steve, you got some notes on some specific.
Well, we are the only state in the nation that did what we did with the Robin Voss, the two ladies in the middle.
Oh, yeah.
We have the majority House Speaker, the minority House Speaker, only state in the nation that does it.
Had all four legislative leaders on stage at the same time doing a panel discussion for us.
It's the guy, the national president of the Counties Association came and spoke, and he said, you should be quite proud of your state because we are the only state out of 50 states that can do it. They're either all too red, too blue, or we gotta be purple in order to get things done. And it was quite interesting. One of the things I wrote down, stuff that happens in Washington. At 8 a.m., there was a $4 billion cut in one of the programs. I think it was related to like across the street.
Oh, the SNAP.
Yeah, SNAP. And by 5 p.m., it was all restored. So the National Association doesn't respond real quickly because all of a sudden it may change again in less than 8-10 hours. So that was one thing that he says it happens quite often out there. So other than that, the discussion on data centers, there, if you see any of the news, there's one proposed for the Cassville area. There's some going in Pleasant Prairie, where Foxconn was supposed to go. Other than that, a couple bills that they talked about, and they talked about PFAS. We have the 10th lowest cost per mile in the nation on doing roads, highways. Was another note that I wrote. But that was a big discussion on how everybody's roads deteriorating. So hopefully some things are gonna come out of it. They have 8 days that they were gonna try and get a lot of things accomplished, but, they may have to come back.
Yeah, the assembly is supposed to be done this week, but those who make predictions of such things know that the Senate is scheduled to come back in March, and they wouldn't be surprised if the assembly did too, or if they get called back into special session by the governor. So there's a lot of things out there. They talked about bills that have to do with, apparently there's a legislative proposal that would require us to have not just corporation counsel, but a county board attorney. For some reason, they think that's a good idea. Counties Association's not real excited about that.
AB 807 and SB 800. So you've kind of looked it up. Yeah, it was, WCA is not in favor of it at all. So
there are some proposed legislative changes to the way that certain commitment procedures happen. There are proposed changes to court fees, enhancing the portion that is retained by counties. They want to increase court fees for certain things that haven't been raised in a long time. And when they say 95% of that would go to the counties, the rest would be retained by the state.
90-10 is what I
90,
know, but yeah.
90, sorry. So, and these are all things that were actually being discussed across the street at the moment while they were talking. So it was interesting.
One thing, number one economic driver, the swipe. Time you swipe, somebody gets paid. That's one thing you really don't think about. Somebody's making money off of that swipe.
Closing keynote was a very interesting presentation about the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald. They had a UW retired, I think UW meteorologist or a professor emeritus, who has studied it extensively from the meteorological angle as well as the historical angle, and walked through the song lyrics from Lightfoot and how that related to what reality had happened. And that was really interesting. So not directly related to our work. It's really interesting. So obviously the fall conference will be coming up in September in Wisconsin Dells, so it's very nearby. For those of you continuing to serve on the board, would encourage you to attend. It's very much worth your time and forming some great relationships with other people from other counties. It's interesting just to listen to other counties talk about challenges they're facing or ways they found to address certain things. Let's see, other than that, continuing to work with the Facilities Planning Committee. We have a meeting coming up Thursday. That committee, Campus Reconfig Committee, we talked about the situation with the water pipe ruptures. Also attended, I'm on the Brewer Library Board, attended that meeting this week. On the Simons Board, attended that meeting last week. A lot of things going on, and of course, regular check-ins with Trish at least once a week, sometimes more than that, sometimes several times a day, depending on the week. But that's what I've been up to as county board chair. Questions for me? One thing we've been talking about, looking at, we got the election coming up, we'll be reorganizing in April and talking about how we deliver board training then. Once we get our new board seated, it's been a challenge to try to pull it together with lower numbers on the board and people joining midterms. So we want to make sure we put together a good effort and deliver some good board training. And it may stretch over more than one session just to give folks a chance to do it. Mr. Carroll.
What was it mentioned that for new board members, registration to the WSA conference is paid for?
Yes. People who've never been to a conference, not even just new board members. If you've never been to a conference and you're a board member, you do get in free. So.
You have to pre-register?
Yes, that registration will open up a couple months or a few months from now. We'll be sure to publicize it with the board when it does. And then this spring after the election, there will be education sessions that WCA co-sponsors. They call them County Officials Workshops, or COWS. Cute name. Yeah. They're located in various, the last time around, the closest one to us was, I believe, in Prairie du Chien. And that's a day of education on what a county board is and how it works in the state of Wisconsin. And oh my goodness, wonderful, wonderful information. So if you haven't been to one of those and you're going to be on the board in April after the election, I would highly encourage you to find one of those and attend it. Any other questions for the chair? Thank you. Don't have any legislators here, do we? Or do we have any legislative representatives that wish to give an update? Hearing none, then we'll move on to item 14, which is a resolution regarding transportation funding.
This will be resolution number 26-5. Now therefore be it resolved that the Richland County Board of Supervisors strongly urges the governor of Wisconsin and the state legislature to enact a comprehensive sustainable transportation funding solution that, one, provides adequate and reliable revenue growth for the efficient long-term planning and execution of state and local transportation programs. Two, includes responsible and prudent use of the general purpose revenue and bonding. Three, adjust any new and existing transportation user fees and other revenue mechanisms to sustain purchasing power in order to maintain and improve Wisconsin's transportation infrastructure. And four, ensures transportation continues to deliver for Wisconsin by adequately funding reconstruction, preservation, and safety investments on the state and local systems. Be it further resolved that the clerk is hereby directed to transmit a copy of this resolution to the governor's office, all members of the Wisconsin State Senate and Assembly representing districts within Richland County. This is being offered to you by the Public Works Standing Committee on February 12th, 2026.
For the resolution, do I have a motion, please? Motion by Cooley, second by Fleming. And discussion. Josh?
So this resolution is the same resolution that's issued to every county in the state of Wisconsin. What we've seen over the years is the transportation funding sources, they're up and down. They're not a very reliable source anymore as far as having a sustainable funding to it. And every county struggles with being able to provide funding for the transportation elements of the county. So what they're asking for is all counties band together, pass this resolution and give it to the governor's office, because the big thing, like we take to Washington DC, like we did last year, and we're doing it again this year, is developing a sustainable transportation funding source for counties to have a mechanism to go after, to put towards transportation.
Anyone have questions on this resolution? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. 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 Opposed? Resolution's adopted. And item 15, a resolution approving the purchase of one new truck by the Highway Department.
This will be resolution number 26-6. Now therefore be resolved by the Richland County Board of Supervisors that approval to purchase one Western Star tandem axle truck is noted by the above is hereby granted. Be it further resolved that the funds for this purchase are in the County Highway Department's account in the 2026 county budget. Be it further resolved, this resolution shall be effective upon passage. Once again offered to you by the Public Works Standing Committee on February 12th, 2026.
So resolution, do I have a motion? Motion by Cooley, second by Schoonover. And discussion.
So this is a function we do every year. With the Public Works Committee and the county board, we've really taken a stance of trying to keep our fleet refreshed of the trucks. We have 19 active plow trucks for the different routes that we have. Keeping them refreshed is pretty important, so you're not dealing with this antique piece of equipment that spend more time in the shop than we do on the boat. As it says, it's done every year. We've been borrowing CIP money to do so, about $500,000. That basically pays for one plow truck. And it's not just you buy the plow truck for $165,000, it's ready to hit the road. This is just buying you your cab and chassis. So it's a frame, wheels, engine, cab. From there, then it's time to go to the bodybuilders and ask for a bid to actually outfit the truck with the box, plows, wings, sanders, everything that it takes to actually make that truck capable. So it's basically like a two-step process by the time it's done, but this is where we start every year. And the reason why we selected that individual truck is because we tried to uniform our fleet with one make, one model, so it keeps our inventory at a lower level and everything's kind of interchangeable, especially if we see problems, then it's, we know what to look at another truck. Sure.
Do you have to do this periodically because salt eats trucks, right?
Correct. The average lifespan of a truck deemed by the state is about 10 years is what you're going to see. You can get a little bit more time after that, but generally you're going to start to see major repairs around year 6.
Questions on this? There are no questions. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? That resolution is adopted. Item 16, correspondence.
There was one email that I put in the packet regarding a fact sheet on the TransSource 765 kV transmission project. You also got that email in your packet. And waiting on my desk when I came back for this meeting was another postcard about that came in this envelope. So just got that today, but that's all that I have to report, Mr. Chair.
Item 17, future agenda items.
Protocol for notifications of county board.
Other future agenda items? Quiet tonight. There are no other future agenda items, then we are on to item number 18, looking for a motion to adjourn from Supervisor Fleming, looking for a second. Mr. McKee, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. We stand adjourned. Thank you.